Well,
Go.
what a night it was last night for combat sports. Unbelievable. Bud Crawford cementing his place, his legacy in boxing history will now be remembered. One of the greatest boxers in modern times. Diego Lopes also proving that he's the number 2 featherweight in the world. And right outside my house, a brawl broke out when someone tried to break into a car. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a free front row seat to one of the best local fights I have seen in years. This guy really wanted to break into a car, and I was impressed. Simon, how was your weekend been?
It was great, and it's still underway right now.
It is.
I mean, that's right. People were up late. I was up late. I mean, usually I go to bed right when it gets dark, you know, because I'm a black crow. But yeah, what a night for combat sports, people. What a weekend.
Unbelievable. I mean, what does this say about the future of combat sports? Well, we're going to tell you today on the Simon Feck Show, because we've got scoops, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin Gastelum blaming the makers of petroleum jelly, aka Vaseline, for his £5 weight loss. Also, Canelo was threatening not to go out because of some shit that was in his rider that he asked for. So it's been crazy. We have our finger on the pulse of the MMA rumor mill. You're going to hear all about it today, guys.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Simon Feck Show. The Simon Feck Show is on top of things, people. Okay? Yeah. I mean, this show here still continues, even when we don't have a producer.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how good the Simon Feck Show is, people. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. And when you subscribe, you get the champ, ladies and gentlemen.
You get the champ, you get Feck, you get it all. You get whoever turns up in the chat. And I'll tell you one other thing that you get. Completely unsubstantiated rumors. Other MMA shows, they've not got the balls to put things out there that we just hear, that we just find on Twitter. We repeat it so that the people know. You think Ariel Helwani is going to do that? I don't think so.
No. People are scared. People are scared to take control of the MMA rumor mill, people.
Yeah.
The MMA rumor mill is real, people. It is alive, people. And Simon Feck and Champ and the Ash, we bring it to you, people. We're not scared of rumors, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
rumors are real.
Yeah. Rumors, you know, you can't prove them, but we'll just say that they're all completely true. I mean, the MMA rumor mill as well, what people don't understand about this, the MMA rumor mill, is that before it existed, you were developing the Nina Drama talking showerhead, and then it developed a kind of sentience and it gave life to the MMA rumor mill, and it exists on a kind of parallel dimension that you can't see, but it transcends reality, and that's how we get our information. Because sometimes I won't even read things on the internet. I'll just be sitting smoking crack or something when I'm not. I don't do that at work because I work in the shoe shop. But when I'm not working in the shoe shop, I'll smoke crack and I'll hear this stuff in my head and I'll say, you know what, the people have to know. And I write it down on like the back of a receipt or something that I end up giving to a customer, and then they complain that I was like being weird or something. I don't think it's true though.
Yeah, that's right. Like for me, sometimes I don't even get the MMA rumor mill through the internet. Sometimes it just comes in like telepathically into my head. Yeah, it's that strong, people.
Yeah, it's like a radio frequency that's out there, and if you spend enough time terminally online on MMA forums, you can hone in on it, and you get the news before anyone else has it. You know, there's, I mean, Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell, they'll never be able to understand the MMA rumor mill the way that we do. And, you know, it's been a heck of a week in combat sports, and we're going to tell you what's going to evolve over the next 12 to 24 years today in this episode.
Right. The MMA rumor mill, I mean, it can be abrasive. It can be like 80 grit sandpaper, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
But the MMA rumor mill is dominant over any other news source, ladies and gentlemen. And we here at Simon Feck, Simon Feck, myself, and the champ, we dominate. We dominate in this news space, ladies and gentlemen.
I would agree with that. And I think you just made a great point that we are 80 grit sandpaper. You look at any of the, you know, Ariel Helwani, he's like 2000 grit sandpaper. He doesn't do, he takes a tiny bit off. You can't even really see it. Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell, they're probably like 1200, you know. There's still, you can't really do real work with that.
Yeah, it's too soft. Like Nina Drama's feet. Nina Drama uses 60 grit sandpaper on her feet, ladies and gentlemen, to bring them to, you know, acceptable level, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. She buffs her feet, and then, but the interesting thing about Nina Drama is that she, after she uses the 60 grit on her feet, she also uses Vaseline to buff her feet so that they reflect the sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. And another person that adds to the MMA rumor mill, besides myself, Simon Feck, and the champ, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Our #1 correspondent, ladies and gentlemen, No Chill. How you doing, No Chill?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Feck. Can you hear me okay on my cell phone?
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. We got a lot to talk about. I'm very ready. I'm very prepared. I couldn't miss this show. I might crash the car, but fuck it. It's damn worth it.
All right. There's a man that knows how the importance of the MMA rumor mill is, ladies and gentlemen. He's risking his life, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, let's hope you don't crash into anybody.
Yeah, I've heard 2 major rumors recently that really have me spiraling. I'm going down these rabbit holes, and you know, they involve 2 pretty big names in the community. So you know, we got a lot to discuss. I'm sure you've heard it too about Kenny Okoye's mom and MMA Joey's sexuality.
Oh, well, I mean, basically, who hasn't heard it? But the way the Simon Feck Show can bring it to you is like none other news source out there, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to elaborate on that right now?
Well, I mean, we could dive into Kenny Okoye's mom. I was gonna reach out to the kid. I felt bad for the kid. I thought he was retarded because I was watching him speak, and I wanted to help out. I wanted to message him and be like, "Hey, buddy, you know, you're doing your best. You know, maybe you're not the smartest kid out there, but you're trying." And I click and I see his mom, and his mom is I don't know if she's a hooker, if she's a prostitute, but I see her Instagram and she's busting it down in her high heels. I was so shocked, and honestly, it kind of did turn me on. But I don't want to be the stepfather to Kenny Okoye. I don't want somebody like that as my stepson. But Kenny Okoye's mom, and I also think she was happy about Charlie Kirk getting shot. I think that too for other reasons, but I think she's a very sexy gal, and she really can bust a move, and that was really surprising. I didn't think he was one of those blacks with rhythm, but it's in his DNA.
I'm not familiar with this person. Who's Kenny Okoye?
He is like he's just a black MMA YouTuber. He likes Israel Adesanya, he likes Jon Jones, he likes crayons, grilled cheese, if you catch my drift.
Now his mother, is there any pictures of his mother's feet?
Yes, there are actually some. I could if you give me a minute, I could make it my profile picture. But yeah, there's pictures of his mother's feet. There's pictures of his mother bust and her mom. And I'm not gonna, expose anybody, but she holds a pretty high position. So the fact that she's throwing it back like that is absolutely wild to me. I would not publicly display videos of my mom busting it back, but maybe it's a cultural difference.
Hey, I mean, busting it back, ladies and gentlemen.
It said also liked by Kenny Okoye. I was scrolling on Instagram. It said also liked by Kenny Okoye, and I see this older black woman, very beautiful, very high quality, throwing it back, and I click on it, and it's his mother, and it's only in my recommendation because he liked it. I don't know what he liking it means. If my mother posted that, I wouldn't like it, but that's a cultural difference that we all need to figure out as Americans. Why do autistic black children like videos of their mom twerking on Instagram?
Well, I mean, she could just possibly be a great twerker. I mean that could be it.
Oh, it's more than possible. It's definitive. Let's go, Champ. I assume you're doing the research right now.
I'm deep into Wikipedia. I'm getting all the information. This is incredibly enlightening stuff right here. But the one thing I just realized, I really need to take a piss. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the cucumber. I'm not gonna start any rumors about the rumor show, but the cucumber picture, as soon as he sees that video of Okoye's mother, I'm not saying it, but we're all thinking it.
I mean, it's a telltale sign the way I'm looking at it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Yeah.
So Champ, well, Champ's gone now. Okay, so I'm used to going straight to Champ. I don't know. So no chill. Have you heard that Joe Pyfer's jockstrap has now entered the UFC Hall of Fame? Now, not just his jockstrap, but also Joe Pyfer too. Yeah, he was seen wearing his cheesesteak jockstrap when he entered the UFC Hall of Fame.
A cheesesteak?
Yeah, his
cheesesteak jockstrap.
That's right. Joe Pyfer has been auctioning off his fight jockstraps, and they're cheesesteak scented.
That is who is buying them at these auctions is what I want to know. Are they scented like cheesesteak, or is he wrapping his little Pyfer in a bunch of Philly delights? How does he acquire the scent of cheesesteak on one's jockstrap? What is the process for that? And congratulations on the Hall of Fame spot, Mr. Pyfer.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a trade secret how they become cheesesteak scented, but the Joe Pyfer jockstraps have been taking the market for the Philly cheesesteak down, because once people acquire a Joe Pyfer jockstrap, they don't need to go get a cheesesteak. All they have the jockstrap within their possession, and they just sniff it, and then they get their fulfillment of the cheesesteak, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you get all the flavor, but none of the calories.
That might help people lose weight. And there's an American obesity epidemic in America. And Joe Pyfer's jockstrap is tackling that fucking issue. And I want to see more things like this. I want to see Yair Rodriguez taco jockstrap. I want to see Virna Jandiroba fucking like brain cancer jockstrap. I want to see this sort of stuff happen all across America. I want to see people use this as a positive. And I think he's going into the Hall of Fame because of his cheesesteak jockstrap, and I think that's a precedent for the rest of the fighters. Start using whatever trade secrets you can to center jockstrap and help America get healthy again, make America healthy again, be like Joe Pyfer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you take like a jockstrap, right, for 6 hours and you duct tape it to your face, you could like just you're technically fasting, but you also feel like you're not missing out as well because you've got like the jockstrap of someone like Joe Pyfer. It's a fighter from Philadelphia. There's just the aroma of a cheesesteak. There's a depth. There's layers. There's the texture in there as well. It's good for you. I don't understand why more people haven't been doing this up until this point.
There's a certain stank that could really get your mind going, and yeah, to your point, it helps with the fasting too. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
I've never been to America actually.
Well, if you do, I recommend Philly as your first place. It smells like a jockstrap regardless of what you're wearing. It's really beautiful if you're into that sort of thing.
I love it.
Yeah, one place to visit is Kensington, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Champ.
Yeah.
Also, Champ, No Chill mentioned about weight loss. You might want to talk about Gastelum.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had a skip. So, No Chill, I'm not sure if you've been watching every show up until this point, or, well, the recent shows. But, well, basically, we got it off the MMA rumor mill that Kelvin Gastelum developed a method to help him cut weight during camps, and it involved dressing up in a full-body snail costume and slathering his stomach in Vaseline, and then sliding around on laminate flooring. And the reason that he's missed weight this week by 5 pounds is that he didn't realize it, but he had the wrong kind of Vaseline. He bought strawberry flavored Vaseline, and so when he tried to lose weight with it, it didn't work. And so he's now saying that he's going to sue the Vaseline company for everything they've got, because he thinks that he was in line for a middleweight title shot if he had made weight and won this fight.
Was he eating his slime?
It was probably, I think it's hard to live like that and not ingest some of the slime, for sure.
That's awful. That's a really awful story for Kelvin. I mean, that's a thing I've heard of people doing more recently. You're having trouble losing weight, so you strip completely naked, right? You lather up in some grease and some lotion, and you put on a big snail shell, and you just slither around on the ground. I feel like saunas are very outdated. I went to an MMA gym. There was four black dudes, and they were all oiled up, big shell on. They were scrumming around on the ground. I was like, "How's the weight cut going?" And they weren't talking English, but I assume they said good. It was like something like that. I assume it was the weight cut's good. I'm happy to be a snail right now. But in the case of Kelvin Gastelum, that's a win and a loss, because I feel like his jockstrap probably does smell like strawberries now. So that's a positive. But not making weight, that's awful. That's a championship opportunity that he lost. And you can't be looking. I could tell his stomach had a redness to it. He looked a little more plump than usual, and it was definitely some body absorbing that strawberry Vaseline that did it to him. I did hear that from Krazy Kev. He did tell me that before, so I was aware of that. But I did not know that the strawberry part was happening, and that's why he lost the weight. I just thought maybe it wasn't as effective as saunas, but how could I argue against Krazy Kev?
Yeah, I mean, that the thing about it as well is that redness in his stomach, that's going to be there for months now. And it's a shame as well, because strawberry Vaseline is a great thing to have. And you think what someone else could have done with, several kilograms of strawberry Vaseline. And unfortunately, Kelvin Gastelum's slathering himself up, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to make weight, no problem at all. And it's a wasted opportunity for Kelvin. And it's a waste of the Vaseline too. And you wonder, what's he going to do with the rest of that Vaseline now? Because I can't think that he's thinking straight. You know, he's probably going to go home and like punch the tub of Vaseline and be like, you made me lose weight, you stupid strawberry Vaseline. So it'll be interesting to see what he does next in his career.
I mean, his Kelvin Gastelum strawberry jockstrap. That's like that's like pate. That's like some very high quality sort of thing now that I feel like a lot of people are going to be looking out for. I feel like that's going to be a really big thing. Joe Pyfer, it's a secret how he gets that, but your entire body covered up in strawberry Vaseline. I imagine his jockstrap is going to be selling very, very high to the likes of Nina Drama or Whoa Black Betty. They would love to purchase something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something like that. That's basically artisan craftsmanship at that point. You know, like you can't duplicate that. You can't 3D print another strawberry flavored Kelvin Gastelum jockstrap.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one of a kind type of thing. It's artisan, and I think we need more of that too. And it's nice to see that sort of craft kind of enter the MMA sphere, because you got a lot of big meatheads, you know, wants their protein bars or protein shakes, but there's nothing natural about that. You know, Kelvin Gastelum's jockstrap, that's a human being. That's a human-made product. That's something that's gonna help your health without putting chemicals into your body. Well, the Vaseline might have some chemicals, but other than that, it's just, you know, it's pure little, you know, Mexican sweat. And, you know, that's something a lot of people do look for in their lives.
Yeah. I think another problem that Kelvin's probably experienced as well is he should have been walking more during this camp to get his body gradually down for the final weight cut. But he got so comfortable sliding. There's videos of him on Instagram sliding to the convenience store, just on the pavement, just pulling himself along. And I think that I'm happy for him that he developed that passion, but it's definitely not played to his favor. And I'm thinking that he's going to have to do some serious thinking about what he wants to do next, how much Vaseline he should use next time, and if he should start trying to regain the use of his legs.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. But as much as the Instagram post, it was like, hey, this guy is not really doing what he needs to do, cutting weight. You know, he's eating his Vaseline slime as he's slithering around. When when Stoltzfus was shooting, he was going to the body from the sprawl position. Gastelum was getting up, and Stoltzfus was going to the body with uppercuts, and Gastelum was getting hit, but it didn't affect him. Why? Yeah. When you slide around on the pavement bare stomach, you get all those scrapes and cuts, but eventually you start building up a tolerance. So I think that did help him in this fight. It helped him win the fight, but it didn't help him make weight, you know, obviously because of the strawberry scent. But when you're sliding around in your stomach, you know, you're getting all bruised up, you're getting hurt. But now it's a little different when you're in the cage. You're gonna punch the stomach. You're like, holy shit! I just slid around, you know, no clothes on beside my shell, on pavement, on road. This punch to the stomach doesn't feel like anything. I was in Kensington, Pennsylvania. I have 10 needles, you know, in my ball sack. So a punch to the stomach. What the fuck? Well, what is this shit? You know.
Also, the Vaseline itself.
Absolutely.
In addition. Sorry, Simon. I was just going to say, in addition to the cuts and the bruising that formed like a protective layer, the Vaseline itself permeates the skin to form like a protective barrier, so that not even microbial bacteria can interfere with his stomach now. So a punch is never going to get through.
Yeah, and that's a major positive of the new UFC that we see today. No more BJ Penn, tape George St. Pierre doing tape study or whatever. If they knew the you know, the trade secrets of today, it'd just be a different world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to start PEV testing. I'm talking about performance enhancing Vaseline. That could come in, and that will change the game if that happens.
We'd see a lot of careers derailed. You know, there's a lot of guys I know. I'm not going to say names, but there's Kamaru Usman. There's Sage Northcutt. He did that a lot. And Jack Della Maddalena, the champion, you know, I've heard he's experimented with it, but it's usually lower level, you know, guys, you know, that are starting out this new trend. They're looking to get ahead, but you know, it would derail a lot of careers. That Islam Dulatov, you know, I've seen things with that guy. He takes the Vaseline to another extreme. It's not only his skin, it's every orifice too with that guy.
Oh,
And
right.
he doesn't even wear a snail shell either. He just puts on the back. Yeah, I don't really know how that's helping him weight cut, but you know, it would derail a lot of prospects.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry,
Wow.
Simon. I feel like you keep going
So
to come
there it
back in and I cutting you off. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I've got nothing. I mean, this is a great conversation, and I love it when great minds of MMA journalism come together like this to discuss what's really going on. Because I don't think anyone else has talked about the Vaseline issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody knows what a time capsule is, right? So, you know, you put an item in like a box or something, and in a certain period of time, you open it up to see what was going on back in the day. So President Trump wants to build a time capsule for UFC Whitehouse to celebrate of the America's 250 years, to be opened at UFC's birthday 300. What do you think Dana White should offer up in the time capsule? No Chill. Any answers?
I would probably say maybe the bullet of whoever gets executed at that event. Maybe they could take it from the carotid artery and put that in the time capsule. Whoever gets assassinated.
Wow. Champ?
I would say Joe Pyfer's jockstrap, definitely. That's the kind of thing that's only going to, you know, with the time between when it's buried and when it's unveiled, it's going to ferment further. That's going to be a hell of a thing to have in, you know, 200-300 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. Oh my gosh! Do you think it's like wine, where with time it gets more pungent?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's gonna be a lucky son of a bitch in a couple hundred years.
Yeah. It's like wine, cheese, and fermented jockstraps.
Yeah, I heard that there's a certain taste, you know.
Well, you know how like fights get inducted into the Hall of Fame? Mm-hmm. I think for the time capsule, Dana White should offer up, you know, the Randy Couture versus Chuck Liddell fight. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, fight number 1, 2, or 3. I'm talking about Randy Couture versus Chuck Liddell 4, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, you know, put that in there.
Interesting.
I mean, like alive, you know, just put them in there and let them fight it out.
Wow.
I mean, I still don't think that there was a lot of controversy after that last Chuck Liddell Tito Ortiz fight as well, the Golden Boy one. A lot of people said that fight shouldn't have happened, but I think I would like to see them run it back. You know, there's a lot more to happen there in that rivalry.
Yeah. I feel like when you got two old guys like that, you know, they couldn't do what they wanted to do in that last fight. Obviously, they didn't have the experience yet to have a really good fight in that last one. Now they're both older, they're both wiser, they know more about life in general than about the sport. Yeah. I've been waiting for that rematch for a long time. Couture, Liddell, Ortiz. I do want to see eventually a triple threat match, but we haven't got to that point yet.
Why not? Yeah. I mean, the triple threat, you know, fight sounds like that's what the UFC needs, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. They need to stop promoting Nina Drama too, because I've heard some rumors about her that weren't too kosher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have heard that. Well, I'm not gonna say. I don't want to give away too much, but I heard that she was involved in Charlie Kirk's slaughter.
Is that right? Interesting.
Wow, she was in Utah. She had. I'm not gonna say what I heard, but I definitely did hear that if she was, let's just say this, if she wasn't born, then there would be no bullet that gashed Charlie Kirk's neck in front of his wife and his children. That would have never happened if not for Nina Drama. And I'm not going to say why.
Is it? I mean, you know, a guess here from Simon Feck. I'm going to say that she possibly distracted him with her feet. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But she was actually trying to do something with Sean Strickland, where she had a board that she wanted Sean Strickland to shoot from real far away, but Sean Strickland kept looking at her up and down because, you know, she's a disgusting fucking whore. You know, she's a fucking a wench. She's gross. Sean Strickland got distracted, and him and his buddy, you know, accidentally the bullet went astray, and it shot Charlie Kirk in front of his children. The blood got on their lunchboxes. It was awful, and it's all because of Nina Drama.
Well,
it was very dark.
Well, what girl in the UFC, right, fighter or correspondent, who do you think would look hottest in a used jockstrap?
Virna Jandiroba, Jessica Andrade, Mackenzie Dern, all these sexy Brazilian girls.
Yeah. The jockstrap's gonna work really nice with their physiques for sure.
Oh yeah. They have. I like women that are, you know, have broad shoulders, muscular build, good jawline, good bone structure. You know, maybe a little bit of hair. I don't mind. You know, strong.
Interesting. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. You like the Amazonian type?
Yeah.
Yes, but not tall. Just strong. Yeah.
I mean, I like this conversation a lot better than Sean Strickland's, you know, his Scooby-Doo lunchbox, you know, and they always do those videos of them out target practicing, you know, but I like to talk. Yeah. I like to talk of the clam fights, ladies and gentlemen, and the clams that are involved in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the clam fights. Has Dana White disclosed yet how much money that they're going to be making from porn websites by distributing the clam fights?
I haven't seen anything like that, but I just know it won't go back to the fighters.
Yeah, it is. I think they might use it to like purchase kind of apparatus and things like that for the UFC. But yeah, I don't think the fighters are going to benefit from it at all, and it's a crying shame.
No, but I did hear there's some really big clams.
Yeah.
You look at that clam, you say, whoa, she's seen a lot of fights. That clam's been that's a veteran. That's a veteran clam. Whoa, you know, and you look at it and you want it to slow down, but it's like, you know, your eyes just gaze, and it's like there's more and more and more of it. It's sticking out. It's a little ugly, but that's Dana White's way. So who am I going to argue against the boss?
Listen, I mean, the thing is, all clams are beautiful in their own way. You know, it's and I say that as well because there's something else that's been bothering me this week. Is that people have been throwing around the word gay a lot. You know, I know that when Howard Stern called into a show recently, he was getting called gay. And people have called this show gay. And this show is not just gay. It's the gayest MMA show on the internet. And I just wanted to touch on that while we were talking about clams. I appreciate clams purely from a, platonic perspective.
I think seafood's disgusting.
Hey, man, listen. Me too, you know. But I would never eat a clam, but I can admire them from afar.
Yes, I like the way that they look. I just don't want. I just kind of, whenever I touch one, I just don't like the texture of it in my mouth.
Yeah. It's a sliminess.
Yeah, so you know, me being Simon Feck being, you know, a black crow and everything, it's in our DNA to eat clams and to eat snakes and everything like that.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, Simon Feck eats a clam, but the clams of the UFC are so big. I mean, it's hard to take it, to ingest it. You know, the complete clam itself from the UFC.
Yeah,
but ladies and gentlemen, breaking news right now, ladies and gentlemen. Not only Jon Jones, but DC is asking Dana White to please let him come back and fight for the UFC Whitehouse card. He says, hey, my name's DC. Why wouldn't I fight in the Whitehouse card, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think about that?
That's going to be tough for him to do, because I know that DC has been making moves towards getting those the hair plugs in Turkey, and he's going to need at least 2 years to recuperate from that operation. So I don't know what he's thinking here. Does this mean that he's possibly going to delay getting hair plugs?
Do you know what? Do you know why he's fighting? I mean, he could be fighting on the card because he needs the money for the hair plugs, but could you imagine him lathered up in flavored Vaseline?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that would be pungent.
Yeah.
To put it nicely. Yeah. I don't know if DC is gonna be winning in his fight at the White House. I really don't know. It's just I've seen some stuff lately that makes me question it. I've seen videos of him recently. You know, he's looking dead. He's cracked out. You know, he's doing methamphetamines. He's doing all sorts of. I don't want to say specifics about what he's doing, but you know, he was under a bridge sucking a homeless dude off for methamphetamines because he kind of looks in the mirror and he hates himself and he can't see his penis anymore, so he wants to, you know, go fight again, get his hair plugs and kind of reinvent himself. And he also liked that video of Okoye's mother twerking too. So, you know, he's definitely spiraling down a path I don't like. So maybe going back to fighting will do good for his career and good for his mental health. What a lucky homeless guy.
The MMA rumor mill, it runs deep and it cuts hard, ladies and gentlemen. The MMA rumor mill, it runs deep and it cuts hard, ladies and gentlemen. And people are saying now, like in some of the comments, they're saying that Dana White, after DC fights in UFC Whitehouse, that Dana White should offer up DC for the time capsule and leave him there.
Oh,
that way Dana White will wash his hair of DC that way by putting DC in the time capsule, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and then that's also going to mean that he doesn't get hair plugs if he's stuck inside the time capsule.
I feel like it's time to let him fossilize a little bit. That man, he needs a little.
It's going to take him a long
time. I feel like
DC a long time.
Yeah, a real long time. But I mean, that's you know, he's earned his stripes in MMA, and I feel like he should be allowed to get the hair plugs, but Dana White won't allow it. But Dana White is allowing Vaseline, but he won't allow DC to use shampoo. I just feel like DC deserves hair plugs, you know.
Well, I'm on the opposite side of you, champ. I don't think that. I think it is a better idea to put him in the time capsule because let's just say 200, 300 years pass by. You know, obviously, you know, he's dead within like 100. Well, he could live off his fat for a while. Maybe he lives a year without eating underground, right? You bury him, you undercover, you know, the time capsule, and 200 to 300 years, and you look at DC, and he's like. He's full of collagens. He's full of like jelly. You know, he's very gelatinous. You could make UFC gummy bears for the next 500 years out of DC's fat after it's preserved underground. This is a business opportunity for the UFC. This is a lot of food that could be, you know, fed to the poor, fed to the homeless. This is a good PR move. You don't want one of your legends, you know, sucking off. I'm not gonna say who it was, but it was Giuliano Argenti that he did suck off, and I don't want to say that publicly, but DC did do that, and that's not a good look for a legend. So I feel like putting him in a timeout, you know, you uncover him. Now everybody eats a little bit of DC in their day. Everybody gets to eat part of a legend. Have DC inside of them. Everybody wants DC inside of them. Everybody really does want DC inside of them.
Yeah.
And it's two options. It's the hair plugs, which, I mean, yes, it's a little unrealistic, or burying him in the time capsule and turning him into gelatin after hundreds of years of fossilization could also be another route that the UFC goes down. And either way, I think it's a good business move.
Yeah, I mean, as well, they could use some of that gelatin and infuse it with CBD or maybe even THC, because a lot of fight fans, they like to get high, you know, so it's like, you can own a part, you can ingest a part of UFC's legacy, one of the first legends of the sport, because this is going to be in 300 years. So you're going to say within the first 20, 30 years, this guy was a legend, and now you can eat him and get really fucking high just by, you know, eating one of these gummies. It's hard to argue, I guess. I would say you make a good point for the business standpoint, but I'm talking about it from a fan standpoint. So what you're saying, you'll make more. UFC will make more money with the gummies, but I think that they should forget about money and let him get hair plugs so that he can use shampoo. But just my opinion.
The shampoo situation, it is interesting to me. As a fan, one day when I have grandkids, I want to look my grandkids in the eye and say, maybe not you, maybe not your grandkids, but your grandkids will get to eat Daniel Cormier. And I'll be looking up in heaven, I'll be looking down, and I will be saying, wow, finally, someone from the No Chill clan has eaten Daniel Cormier. And I really do look forward to that day when I get to tell my grandchildren that. So it's a generational thing as a fan, and I feel like it's a good PR thing for the UFC.
Yeah.
To leave DC in there for a while, because he's been acting up a little. He's been acting a foul, you know. He's been saying things on commentary that are bad. He's been, you know, joking a little bit too much with the fighters. He's been sucking off homeless guys. It's a little bit too much. And shampoo, I just feel like it's a little bit controversial because you're also promoting, you know, it's anti-male beauty. You're saying, hey, you're not good. You know, you're telling your audience you're not good enough. You're not in this rich boys club. You can't afford hair transplants in Turkey. Only DC can. You know, you're hurt. I feel like you're making it more of a rich boys club. You're hurting the male beauty standard if you give DC hair plugs. So I think we should eat them. But I do see the shampoo as a controversial option as well.
Okay.
Because it does have its benefits. Because I don't know if he wants to be eaten.
Yeah, and Joe Pyfer's not homeless anymore, right? You know, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
when we're talking about DC doing what DC does, and I mean Joe Pyfer, you know, Joe Pyfer's not homeless anymore. So, you know, when DC and Joe Pyfer get together, it kind of tears that apart. Now, listen to me, guys. Listen to me, right? Okay, so there's a certain website. It's called MMA ZONE, and they go out there and they scrape. Yep, they scrape videos, right? They go out there and they scrape videos and steal everybody else's content. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, MMA ZONE is currently scraping and getting the news right here from the MMA Rumor Mill, ladies and gentlemen, the Simon Feck Show with Champ and No Chill, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Go ahead, MMA Zone. Go ahead and scrape anything you want from this show right here. Make sure you put a credit in there, MMA Zone. You hear me? Go ahead.
Yeah, if there's not a hat tip there, we will be pursuing some kind of action. Personally, I can't afford a lawyer, but I'll probably send an email or something, just making like ambiguous statements about this is an ominous decision you have made to use our content without giving us credit, and hopefully that scares them.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people get news from this show, and you know, I know a couple of MMA journalists. I'm not going to name them, but like Krazy Kev, the fat dude with that Colby Covington said to do push-ups, and Ariel Helwani. They all watch the Simon Feck show. Everybody watches, right? But everybody's, you know, they don't want to give credit. They don't want to be like, oh, I'm watching the mainstream news. I'm watching Simon Feck. Well, it's mainstream for a reason, motherfucker, because it's the breaking news. It's the fucking truth. Yeah. And when I see people discredit mainstream journalism like the Simon Feck show, when you have these people like Ariel Helwani, and I use the term people very loosely, just outright stealing news and stealing takes without you know, giving any credit, it really just turns my stomach. It's awful. It's disgusting, and I think they should be punishable. It should be accountable by law.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes me think that we shouldn't even put news out there if other people are going to be using our scoops and our info and the things that we receive from the MMA rumor mill through our kind of constant dedicated meditation and our ability to attune our brain frequencies to the MMA rumor mill. If people are going to use that and not give us credit, then not only am I threatening to not do this show anymore until we hit 100,000 subscribers, I might try and take down YouTube as well.
Yeah, you should own them. Ariel Helwani, what has he done? What has he done? I mean, we've done a lot. I mean, we went to Baghdad in Afghanistan. We've went to Iraq. We went to all of these hostile territories to get news. While these patsies sit in their studios, you know, scrolling through CNN, scrolling through ESPN. Oh, and they probably don't even watch. They probably said Simon Feck show summary. They probably don't even watch the full thing. They don't even get all the context. You know, they just want to, you know, I mean, without trying to sound indecent, they want to rip off something that's good, and it's blatant and it's disgusting and it's deplorable. And that's why Palestine is bombing the shit out of Ariel's friends right now. You know, and they deserve it. You know, if they're gonna steal news, that's just what just has to happen. And I do understand protesting, but it is a thing that, you know. It's like, if we don't break it, where are they going to get it from? People are going to be miseducated.
You made a great point there about AI, and I think it's important that the fans know that the AI summaries are actually delivered to like a GPT-like program by the Nina Drama Talking Showerhead, because the Nina Drama Talking Showerhead does what it wants, and it's not immoral, it's amoral. So it has no one's interest at heart except its own. It just goes by logic and not morality. So that's feeding all this information to AI, and all these you know, the grifters, you know, the Luke Thomas, the Brian Campbell, they're saying, oh, this is free information. We're allowed to have this. This is being given away. But we didn't choose to give this away. That was the Nina Drama Talking Showerhead that did it on his or her its own accord.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really very I don't want to sound like one of them patsies, but the water that comes from the Nina Drama showerhead, it's too hot. It's very scalding. Yeah. I like a colder shower, and that's kind of where my main issue with all of this shit in life kind of stems from. And also, it smells too much like a cheap jock strap. It smells like a lot of different fighters' jock straps combined. the Nina Drama shower head. I'm not sure how you acquired that scent, but
yeah, it's like a whole bouquet of jock straps. Yeah, absolutely. And not to just circle back around, but I want to tell you that the guys at the MMA Zone, they know good journalism because they went to the Simon Feck Journalism School, ladies and gentlemen. So they've been properly trained, but they refuse to report and give credit to what credit is due to, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody at the MMA Zone was taught how to say ladies and gentlemen correctly, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. I'm done with the MMA Zone. Okay? You guys, I know you're going to continue scraping. You're going to continue scraping stuff from the Simon Feck Show. Okay? Just go ahead. I hope you're satisfied. You guys don't create any material at all. And yet you guys know how to say ladies and gentlemen, but you refuse. I taught you how to say ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
Well, this is why, we've got to a state in society where journalists can say whatever they want. There's freedom of the press. And I've disagreed with this for years. If you went to the Simon Feck School of Journalism, you shouldn't be able to publish a single word without Simon giving it the go-ahead first. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. MMA Musical, he makes things. He doesn't credit Simon Feck. Ariel, yeah. No, I go look on MMA Musical's channel. I can't find a single credit to Simon Feck. And I'm not saying that dude should be executed, but you gotta have some integrity as a journalist.
Yeah.
You really do. And I don't like drama, but I think we should just shoot him.
There's not. That's right. Musical MMA. There's not one credit to Simon Feck on your entire YouTube channel. Now, why is that, Musical MMA? We need answers. Now, actually, we're 5 high, no chill right now. We are 5 high viewers right now. And I guarantee you, one of them is Musical MMA. He likes to sit back and lurk in this channel right here. Musical MMA. Musical MMA, we need answers why you haven't credited Simon Feck. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I'm getting a little bit tired of all these people who have been using our hard work, because we said a few weeks ago, we're not going to start putting out good content until we hit 100,000 subscribers. So this isn't even our best content because we're close to 100,000, but we're not quite there yet. I think we're still about 99,700 people away. But when we do and we start putting out top-rated content, what's going to happen then? People are just going to keep stealing,
I want death squads. I want Simon Feck death squad, crow mask soldiers lined up on every street from London to Birmingham to find people, certain people, especially that don't accredit Simon Feck, that don't accredit good journalism, that steal from Simon Feck and make a livelihood off of it. And make a livelihood off of it. I want death squads. I want this dude. Well, I'm not going to say who, but I want MMA Musical. I want his stomach stabbed open, and I want him to no anesthesia, kidney removal as a warning.
I'm definitely seeing a kind of Saints Row type situation, just plague masks in the street and people just firing bullets into the air and blowing up vehicles for no apparent reason other than we deserved to be credited for the stuff that the MMA Zone and Musical MMA stole from us. Yeah,
I literally could not agree anymore. Yeah. I think this needs to be a hostile takeover.
Yeah, And then all the false reporting out there. Last night, somebody sent me a clip of Giuliani Argenti saying that Giuliani, whatever his name is, Argenti and Bedtime MMA were the only ones to predict a full card this year, ladies and gentlemen. 12-0, 12 for 12, whatever you want to say it on the card, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, sweep the card, okay? Yeah. So Bedtime MMA and Argenti are not the only ones to sweep a card this year. Argenti, stop lying, Argenti.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. On Discord, yeah, no, that's fair. I was just going to say that on Discord, you and me talk, and I think we've predicted every fight and every round, not method, but every fight and every round. We've predicted the correct winner for every single UFC fight for about the past 3.5 years, I think.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's that.
I have news that'll absolutely shock you. I'm looking at my Google spreadsheets right now. Isha Jerome of the City Life Project, he predicted 12 fights. Jake Linden, homeless YouTuber, Northwest 425, he said there were going to be 12 fights as well.
Oh yeah.
Theo Dawkins, he just got knocked out by Yoel Romero. He said there were going to be 12 fights as well. So Giuliano Argenti and what was his name? The other one?
Bedtime
MMA. You're fucking lying to your audience. You're deceiving your audience on purpose, and I find it fucking disgusting. Because what this is big pharma. This is Big Brother trying to hold his thumb down on the guys that are fighting and doing the real work. Giuliano Argenti, he has 100,000 real subscribers, and he really he works, so he's live 24/7, so obviously he's working real hard on his YouTube. I mean that guy's an inspiration to me, inspiration to my children, and Bedtime MMA, I mean that dude's really good too. I mean he's met President Trump, he's met Netanyahu, he's met some people like that. These are not small players, folks. Yeah. These are big names in the game, and they all have 100,000 subscribers. And then look at us, the people that really do, the people that get their pickaxes, and they are the ones mining for the diamonds. They mine for the diamonds just for Big Brother to take what we yield. And I think it's time we start finding these MMA YouTubers in real life, publicly posting their address and murdering them, cold blood, on their streams. Murder them. That's what I think needs to be done.
We'll give them one more chance before we come to that. But I mean, it really is interesting times in the MMA journalism landscape. I always thought that we would be heroes. Like we would walk down the street and be applauded and recognized by everyone for what we've done for this sport. And so far, my life's not quite like that yet. It's I thought I would have like 4 wives. And, I don't even like clams, but I thought I would have 4 wives. And it's just not panned out. I'm still a single guy.
I wanted 4 wives by now. I was getting a little unhealthy, so I wanted to stop eating pork. I had a lot of questions about life that I thought were going to be answered. But you keep feeling the pressure. This is just like World War II, the wrong side's winning. But we gotta not make the mistake that the good guys did, and we gotta just fight it on all fronts. Keep going.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Just.
Sorry.
Yeah. So no chill. Yeah, no chill is exactly right. I mean, Argenti, you're not the only one to predict that there was 12 fights. Okay, you and Bedtime MMA. Anybody, there's numerous people that have predicted that there was 12 fights. Okay, you're nothing special, Argenti. That's it.
Yeah,
I agree.
there were people as well who said before UFC 1, there were a few people, like, I never found out what their names were. It's quite mysterious, but they said that this event was going to be an event to find out who what the most dominant martial art was. You know, and these people were like truth seers. You know, they had the ability to sift through time in their mind, and they knew that each fight was going to consist of two men locked in a cage, and you know, some of them would be wearing one glove, some would be in a judo gi or something like that. But overall, you know, psychic power does exist.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say their names, but you know, they were pagan giant yellow flying owls, and they did predict all of that. You know, I couldn't understand what they said because they just sounded. I was saying, "Are you subscribed to Giuliano Argenti? Are you subscribed to Bedtime MMA?" And they said, "Woo, woo." And I was saying Giuliano Argenti and Bedtime MMA, and they said, "Oh no, I'm not." And I said, "Well, maybe you're not ought to be." When they're stealing the great work of Simon Feck. And these people, they're longtime fans, as you said, you know, they do travel through time. They do all sorts of things like that. You know, they actually told me that there would be 12 fights on a card. So it's definitely a proven fact that it's a proven fact, Jack, that a lot of these people saying, "Oh, I'm the only person to say there's going to be 12 fights on the card." I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, there's going to be a surprise fight at the end. There's going to be 2 surprise fights at the end." But no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And I think these people need to be held accountable. If I do find Bedtime MMA, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do to him, but I'm going to do what Charlie Kirk's shooter did to Charlie Kirk to Bedtime MMA. But that's for a good cause.
More chance. We're gonna give him one more chance before it comes to that.
Yes, yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, okay. Yeah, I maybe a shot that misses the artery just grazes him a little bit. He starts talking. You know, maybe he's in his bedroom. He does his things from his bedroom, right? He's the bedtime. He's live. He's sitting on his bed. You know, it's spasm blood from his neck. And you know, all you see in his window is a crow, and everybody will know.
Does the Bedtime MMA, does he also, you know, when he does his show from his bed, is he also, you know, currently using the Vaseline, you know, diet program?
I see lots of white stains on his bed sheets. It could be Vaseline. I don't know. I don't know if he's doing that, but he looks like he's been weight cutting a little too long. So perhaps that could be it.
Now yesterday, okay, I want to get into the fight, or at least one fight from yesterday. So yesterday, already one of the fights is now known as the Death Ref fight. The Death Ref fight. I mean, not only was damage being sustained before the first horn, you know, at the end of the fight, it went all the way to the second horn, and then a little bit even after the second horn to end the fight. So Dan Merculata is now known as the Death Ref, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And that's a horrible thing, and it was probably one of the most brutal fights I've ever seen. You know, I've never seen two warriors quite as resilient or strong as Montserrat Rendon and Elise Pereira, but you know, the carnage in that one was just really it was breathtaking, and the fact that that fucking piece of shit left these two people to do what they did to each other and wouldn't stop the bell. It goes to show that we are, you know, continually to live in a society where violent tendencies are developing in the citizens, and I don't like that at all. I don't like Dan Miragliotta is somebody that needs to be held accountable for what he's done, and I'm just worried about these two beautiful women's careers in the future and how their lives are going to be. I mean, but let's face it, everybody. They're going to be sipping all of their meals out of a straw. And that's the price that you got to pay sometimes. But it really shows a degradation in today's society, how Dan Miragliotta acted, you know, in between rounds too. In between rounds, you know, he was signaling that he wanted the girls to jerk him off. He was doing a lot of nasty shit. And I don't like that sort of refereeing in our sport. What do you think about that, champ?
Dan Miragliotta is a man with acquired tastes, you know. And I know that we don't like to see referees behaving like that, but I think it's a generational thing. I think as you start to see more young referees come through, there's going to be less demanding hand jobs in between rounds. But I feel like I can't judge Dan Miragliotta because he came from a different generation, you know?
True. He did come from a generation where all the women's fighters, they had, if they even wanted to continue to the next round, they weren't even allowed to. I mean, we all saw the blowjobs that Clarissa Shields would give people. I mean, there were some legendary moments in her career, and you know, but Clarissa Shields has a very big jaw. She has a very big mouth. She's a very big woman. You know, Elise Perez has a very small jaw, very small clam. Clarissa Shields, holy, she could catch a pumpkin. If you threw a pumpkin at her, she could catch it between her legs and she could throw it like a shot put. That woman's got talent. But someone like Elise Pereira, I just don't think she should be subjected to that type of behavior in 2025. But cancel culture, I mean, I'm not for it. So Dan Miragliotta, keep doing your thing. You know, he's an old school guy, but I don't know if it's going to work too much longer in the modern day, especially when you start to see more homosexual fighters come through the league. And now they're going to be demanding that they also get the same treatment that Clarissa Shields did.
Mm-hmm.
How's Dan Miragliotta going to react to that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Don Miragliotta, he needs to just take a stance now. Is he for or is he against mid-round blowjobs from the fighters? Is he for it or is he against it? If he doesn't say something soon, I think there's going to be issues.
Well, there's one thing. Clarissa Shields, we need the Simon Feck Show needs to send a message to you. Now, Clarissa Shields, listen to me right now. Listen to me, Miss Shields. Clarissa Shields, never eat pizza with Dan Miragliotta. Listen to me, Clarissa. Listen to me. Clarissa Shields, never eat pizza with Dan Miragliotta. You listening, Clarissa? Never eat pizza with Dan Miragliotta, the death referee, ladies and gentlemen.
And I mean, if we could just go back to, you know, there's been other traditions in fighting, you know, which maybe not as sexual as agile, but I know that there were some fight leagues in Eastern Europe, I think, where in between rounds they would give the fighters, they would forcibly administer bath salts to them to make them more entertaining fighters. And personally, I'm not sure that wouldn't be a good thing with the Paramount deal. I think if you give the fighters bath salts in between rounds, you're going to get more bang for your buck out of them because they're going to forget about, you know, fight IQ and preserving their bodies and things. They're just going to go for it.
I agree, and that is Mirko Krokop did really good from that, but you know, Elias Theodorou, when he had the bath salts, he didn't do too well. So
Yeah.
it's a 50-50 type of thing, and I'm more against the bath salts than for them. But I will say this: if you're in the bath and you take bath salts with Nina Drama's shower head raining down onto you, you're Vaseline, you know, Kelvin Gastelum, he's Vaselined up. He's got his snail shell on, right? Do you think that could have saved Charlie Kirk's life? Do you think his blood wouldn't be on his children's lunch boxes if he followed those procedures?
Well, it's too soon to say, but I do think that the bath salts one, it's an interesting conversation, you know, and I think, I mean, even it doesn't have to be in UFC. Imagine bath salts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, bath
Oh
salts in
yeah.
karate combat, bath salts in bare knuckle. Most of these people take bath salts 5 days a week anyway, so why not just give it to them during the fight?
There's people that, I mean, I do know that Mickey Musumeci, he does bath salts right before the fight. You know, you'd see it in his face. He starts, you know, he's tweaking a little bit, but it helps him out. It helps him out. Max Holloway loves it. Absolutely. Oh my God. When Max Holloway takes bath salts, holy shit, he's a whole new different fighter. Look what he's sobered up against Ilia Topuria. There goes your chin, buddy. Take some fucking bath salts. What are you, retarded? What are you, retarded? You're not. I don't want to take bath. Mr. No Chill. I don't want to take bath salts before the fight. What are you, fucking retarded? You're gonna end up like Charlie Kirk, buddy. You take those bath salts and you make weight, or you're gonna be another disgrace to the sport. And I don't want to see any more disgraces to the sport. I think it will help fighters have more energy, and it'll help them. It'll help the sport overall, because more entertaining fights means more fans are going to turn around to come back to the next show. So I do think you have a fucking amazing point. We need to start forcibly administering bath salts before the fight. But we're in 2025 cancel culture. You know, I don't want to take the bath salts. I don't think fighters should be forced to take the bath salts. So get it with these fucking liberals in charge of the government right now. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't, the optics of it, okay? The optics is where it's problematic, because if you've got one coach, you know, kind of like holding open his fighter's jaw while the referee has a funnel and he's just pouring bath salts into it, it doesn't look great, okay? It doesn't look great, but does it look that bad? That's my question.
Well, you know, obviously people were always talking about how Ronda Rousey's corner screwed her in that fight where she lost, because she thought she was going to get bath salts, and they put about 1 entire pound of sand in the funnel.
Oh.
They put sand in the funnel, and you know, she's waiting, and instead her teeth just keep crunching on sand. Her stomach's full. She's not feeling good. And next thing you know, no more title, never wins an MMA fight again. So I think we really need some professionals to administer the bath salts. I want people, you know, such as yourself, to give the bath salts to the fighters. People such as Derek Moneyberg and maybe Crazy Horse, you know, people that can be trusted with bath salts. I think they should be the ones administrating it. Your own corner doing it, you know, you see fishy shit happen all the time. You see sand gets poured down the bath salts, or maybe you confuse the bath salts for normal salt.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like there's very few people out there. I'm one of them who can do a taste test on bath salts and verify how pure it is. I mean, I think as well, smoking spice as well, that should be brought back to MMA. I don't understand why that went away.
I don't know. It's just all these fucking hipster liberals, you know, they just don't want the truth. They don't want, you know, testosterone in the fighters anymore. And there's not a lot of differences, folks, between bath salt and normal salt. You could try it yourself, right? But things like that, it's like caffeine. It's like just the smallest little boost that you get to your energy. And you know, I feel like maybe if Charlie Kirk would have took bath salts, he would still be with us today. And it's just an American disgrace to see this not outlawed necessarily, but just not take common practice outside of Eastern Europe, like you said, Champ. And it's very disappointing when guys like Merab are shooting, you know, 100 takedowns around, all hyped up, all cracked up, and Bo Nickel can't even take down Paul Craig. It's really a disgrace for America, and we do need to give bath salts to the fighters.
Yeah. Speaking of America, okay, so Simon Feck knows some people, okay, and BKFC fighter, a true Philadelphian, okay? BKFC fighter Travis Thompson once told Simon Feck that the people love the movie Rocky, and they love the character Rocky because Rocky is the epitome of a Philadelphian, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Feck, I want to know, is Joe Pyfer the epitome of Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think, though, Chill?
Oh my God, absolutely. That dude's jockstrap alone could have 100 Philadelphians lined up, you know, ketchup, no mustard. They'd be very happy. He is really like the next Rocky. My real thoughts are who is gonna be the Ivan Drago? Who is gonna be the Creed to Joe Pyfer? Because there's not a lot of fighters here that really have the funk of Joe. And I feel like if the UFC doesn't find somebody soon, they're gonna miss out on a giant opportunity to make that Rocky story kind of, you know, finally be based off of something that happened in real life. But is he the definition of Philadelphia? Absolutely. He looks a little bit different than most people in Philadelphia. You know, he must be like a very dehydrated guy. You know, because people in Philadelphia, they love to hydrate on I guess a lot of Coca-Cola maybe. But Joe Pyfer overall, you know, he has the spirit of Philadelphia, and I want to see him kind of take a championship in maybe Kensington, in a place like that where we need some money coming in. We need to make a new sports town, because there's underprivileged people that could use a Joe Pyfer. You know, being homeless, that's a lot of Philadelphians too. So I feel like a lot of these people connect with Joe.
Well, I mean, that would be my next question is, you touched on something really important there, which is they're having a UFC on the White House lawn. I don't think the White House needs a UFC to promote itself, but what if they had UFC on someone's front lawn in Kensington? Would that not be great for the country as well?
That would be fantastic, champ. I feel like it would really bring the unity that America kind of needs right now. We're in a time of political disrest, and we need something like maybe Ilia Topuria versus maybe Habib on somebody's front lawn in Kensington, Pennsylvania. Well, people in Kensington, they really don't have a lot of lawns, so that might be an issue. But if we could find one, maybe in like a Popeyes or you know, by the trash bins outside on the porch, or you know, as some Kensingtons call it. I feel like that would really be good for the country and good for the UFC. Finding a lawn in Kensington, it might be difficult, it might be hard, but it'll be well worth it. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful scenery. If you're in the area, if you don't know what Kensington is, go there right now. People are really friendly. You know, there's a lot of steroid users. There's a lot of people on steroids. So be careful about that. Be careful whose steroids you take. Some of the steroids are really good. People always want to talk to me when I go there. People are always talking to me. They say, hey you guy, give me your fucking money. And you know, they always joke around with me like that. And then they're really friendly people. They love there's steroid needles all over the place. They need to clean up a little bit. Maybe they need like a Goldman's gym or something like that. But other than that, Kensington's a beautiful place. I would bring your daughters, bring your wives. Ilia Topuria, you know, he's going to be fighting there soon. I really can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen on YouTube a lot of, you know, you see like first-person tourist videos and like walking tours of Kensington, and there's a lot to see, there's a lot to do, but if they could have an event, a UFC event on someone's front lawn there, even if the UFC had to borrow the cage from Street Beefs, because I think their cage is smaller, but the UFC could do cross promotion with Street Beefs on a front lawn in Kensington. It's a no-brainer as far as I can see.
Do you think the UFC is big enough to do something with Street Beefs yet?
I don't know. That's a great question, actually. You know, someone like Winged C, he would. You wonder if who in the UFC would really would put up a challenge for Winged C?
Tom Aspinall. I feel like that. Well, I don't know. I really don't have a good answer for you. Tom Aspinall he's a little bit untested, and going to Wing C before Jon Jones probably wouldn't be a good thing for the sport overall. But you know, if they can get that deal, I would love to see it inked out. I would love to see it made, and I really do. You know, as you were saying, you've seen the point of views of the tourists in Kensington. It's a really beautiful place. There's a lot. Oh my God. There's historic sites. Jared Gordon, Lauren Murphy, Joe Pyfer. They all used to live under this bridge. That's a sight to see. You know, the women there, they wear really little clothes. There's no fat women there. There's no fat women there. All the women are real skinny. All the women look like they're on a weight cut. They're very beautiful.
But the women can do that without effort because of bath salts. Yeah.
I mean, that's the entire point of bath salts, is to cut weight. If you're trying to lose weight fast, you get some bath salts. It's sodium. That's all it is. You know, it takes away your water weight, evaporates your fat even. So that's a really good point, Jeff.
It's just like a complete mystery about how is anyone missing weight in today's world when there's such ease of access to bath salts. You know, you just go on the dark net, you find a market, and you order bath salts, and you lose weight. You know, like I don't understand why this doesn't happen more often.
If you are from Kensington, you don't even have to go on the dark net. When you go to a diner there, next to the Pepper, they have bath salt shakers. It's incredible. And I feel like there's a really strong sense of community. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's screaming, "Give me back. Give me back. Give me back my fucking needle." You hear stuff like that all the time, and I think there'd be a really receptive crowd to UFC. I could hear the chants in the audience, kind of like Manchester, a little bit, I would say, but just more. They're very energetic, more energetic.
Yeah, I mean,
so the joke. Go ahead. So we're gonna have to get ready to wrap this up, champ. So go ahead.
Well, if we're getting ready to wrap it up, there was one thing I wanted to talk on, and it was a scoop, and it's not related to Kensington, I'm sorry, but it is an interesting scoop, and it's from the boxing event last night. And it was Canelo Alvarez was potentially refusing to go out and fight Bud Crawford. This is from backstage. This is from the MMA rumor mill, even though it's boxing.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why is that Canelo, he was backed up. He couldn't pass a juice. Yeah, a juice, you know. He was constipated. He couldn't take a shit. So he was sitting on the toilet and he was saying, "I'm not going out there until I pass this log." And there was like a semicircle of people around him because the stall door was open, and they were like, "You've got to go out. This is a huge fight." And he was saying, No, I'm not going out until I pass this. So they gave him a bunch of water, some laxatives. He took a dump, and then he went out and he fought. And you know, it was very close. We almost never saw the fight last night.
Yeah, and thank God for Mr. Beast for making Canelo shit. If it wasn't for that, we would have never got to see, you know, such like a historic fight. I heard Mr. Beast was in the gaggle of people around Canelo in the bathroom. He said, "Canelo, first one to poop wins $100,000." And Canelo got inspired. You know, Canelo took a little, bowel movement. Yep. And he left, you know, the bathroom. He went to go fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, man, I'll say it right now. He has no problem pooping.
Yeah.
He has no problem. He has a very loose asshole. Very easy to slip, you know, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing.
He's got a great gut biome, but Canelo, before he was passing it, he was sitting on the toilet. He was shadow boxing to try and hype himself up to make it happen. Yeah.
And you know what? It just goes to show, like, he definitely expelled a lot of cardio before the fight doing that. Yeah. And Terence Crawford, that's a guy who's they call him Trumpet. They call him
Oh.
Terence the Trumpet Crawford. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know
No,
that.
when he does go, it's reminiscent of a fine like jazz orchestra because he has such a loose, widespread rectum. And I really do find that really inspiring that Terence Crawford's able to do that, but it's almost an unfair advantage that he has over Canelo, and I feel like that is ultimately the reason why Terence Crawford won, was because Canelo was constipated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard, I have heard about certain people when they take a dump. There's almost like a regal quality to it. They feel like they're in, they feel like they're in Buckingham Palace in the 1850s. There's just this. They feel like they're in the presence of greatness, all because some people have the capacity to just take solid dumps. I'm not one of them, but some people do. But it's obviously helped Bud Crawford, and it's been an imposition for Canelo Alvarez in terms of his career. I don't know if he's going to get the rematch, if Turkey's going to be okay with him saying, hey, the reason I didn't perform to my usual standard is because I was inhibited by this log, and he's holding the log up and he's like, this is what did it, man. This is why I couldn't fight. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And just as a final comment on that, I did hear in the post-fight interview Terence was talking about the situation. He said he's never even felt it when he's pooed before. He's never even felt a poo before. It just like that.
Wow.
So it's next level stuff that we see in modern boxing. The Muhammad Ali, Marvin Hagler, these types of people just couldn't dream of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the body's an amazing thing, We all have our own unique bodies, and Bud Crawford is obviously genetically blessed.
Well, yeah, but he's trained. It's not just his genes, all right? He's trained. Like, let's give him credit. He's trained. He's trained hard.
Yeah, yeah. Fair point.
So you got anything else, champ?
That's it. We were meant to have a special guest on. I'm not going to say who it was. He will be here next week for an appearance. Someone you both know.
Any closing statement from you, Mr. No Chill?
Yeah, MMA Joey. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about him. I might have to message you them for some time, but I've heard something about him not having I'm not gonna say what it is, but I did hear that he has erectile dysfunction, and that might be something that we have to get a scoop on sooner than later.
Okay, very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to see Dana White get on top of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Dana White, here's a story. Here's something you can think about from the Simon Feck Show. Dana White, please identify for Joe Pyfer, okay? Do yourself a favor and identify Joe Pyfer's creed